Video start. Soft music, tranquil visuals, perhaps a silhouette of someone meditating or serene landscapes at dawn. Slow transitions to scenes of small daily challenges, like a traffic jam, a minor work frustration, but without excessive dramatization. In our journey through life, we inevitably encounter crossroads and challenges that test our resilience. These are the grave moments, where pressure intensifies, emotions surface, and clarity seems to vanish. In these crucial instants, a fundamental truth emerges. How we react defines our experience. Life can be a good state of struggle, a constant learning and overcoming, but the state of internal war, of constant conflict and agitation, will never be a good life. Here lies the master key: calmness. It is not the absence of movement, but the presence of an inner strength that allows us to see beyond the immediate turmoil. Let us not rush into hasty decisions for circumstances, reflecting a larger tapestry of events. Modify our experience moment by moment. Impulsive actions rarely lead to lasting solutions. Let us avoid tears that only entangle enigmas. Tears can be a necessary balm, but when they become a refuge from action, they tend to complicate rather than resolve. And if, at some point, the fall is inevitable, if a disastrous mistake occurs, let us not surrender to despair. True power lies in rising again, the most dignified response for one who stumbles. Let us cultivate patience. Without self-mastery, without the ability to wait and understand ourselves, how can we expect others, who do not yet fully understand us, to do so? If the complexity of a matter overwhelms us, let us grant ourselves time. One more day, one more week. Time is never wasted for those who seek clarity. And in interactions, let us be cautious. Under the pretext of defending someone, let us resist the urge to delve into empty discussions. There are those who make much noise simply for the love of conflict. Let us be temperate in our choices and actions, for in moments of great tension, our true essence, our spiritual reality, becomes more apparent. In any evaluation concerning third parties, let us exercise prudence. Life is an echo. On other occasions, others will be called upon to refer to you. Finally, let us refrain from proclaiming our individual merits. Any quality, however excellent it may seem, is a fragile achievement on our path of evolution. Remember, virtue is not a voice that speaks, but a power that radiates. This invitation to deep reflection will be our guide to unveil how serenity, patience, conscious action, and integrity can transform the way we live and overcome challenges. In the following scenes, we will explore each of these pillars with practical examples, stories, and insights that will allow us not only to navigate grave moments, but to emerge from them strengthened and more conscious. Prepare to cultivate a new perspective on the strength that resides within you. Continuing our journey, we realize that one of the greatest saboteurs of the calm we seek is impulsivity. Life presents us with constantly changing scenarios. Circumstances are like rivers that alter their course every minute. This is why wisdom warns us: do not deliberate hastily. In a world that demands instant answers, the ability to pause becomes a superpower. Think of a heated moment, whether in a passionate discussion at work, a family tension, or even facing disturbing news on social media. Our primal instinct, shaped by millennia of evolution, compels us to react. The brain, under stress, activates the amygdala, the part responsible for the fight or flight response, while the prefrontal cortex, our center for logical reasoning, decreases its activity. It is in this state that the most disastrous decisions are made and the most regrettable words are spoken. How can we break this cycle? The answer is simple but requires practice: the conscious pause. Take a deep breath, count to 10, leave the environment for a few minutes, drink a glass of water. Give yourself the gift of time. Because, as ancient wisdom reminds us, time is not wasted. What at first seems like a delay, a hesitation, can actually be a window of opportunity for new information to emerge, for emotion to subside, or for the dust to settle, and a creative solution, previously invisible in the whirlwind, to finally reveal itself. Think of the metaphor of muddy water. If you let it rest, the dirt settles and clarity returns. We challenge you to identify situations in your daily life where impulsivity tends to dominate. Practice the pause. It is not weakness, it is strategy. It is the first step to reclaim control over your reactions and consequently over the quality of your life. Life in its complexity confronts us with pain, grief, loss, and inevitably, with our own mistakes. Faced with a disastrous error, the first reaction can be a descent into despair. But wisdom warns us, if you have erred disastrously, do not rush into despair. Rising again is the best measure for one who falls. It is crucial to distinguish between tears that heal and tears that imprison. Tears are a natural response to pain, a necessary catharsis to process intense emotions. Crying releases tension, allows us to feel the pain, and begins the healing process. However, there is a type of weeping, a continuous and unproductive lament that does not liberate but paralyzes. It is the weeping that complicates enigmas rather than resolving them, transforming into a refuge from action and learning. Despair, that dark cloud, is a trap that blinds us to possibilities of overcoming. It convinces us that there is no way out, that the error is the end, not a turn in the road. However, the history of humanity is full of luminous examples of rising again. Inventors who failed hundreds of times before success, authors who were rejected countless times before gaining recognition, or simply ordinary people who, after profound falls, found within themselves the strength to rebuild their lives, brick by brick. Rising again is not about erasing the past, but about learning from it. It is about forgiving oneself, accepting the imperfection inherent in the human condition, and with courage taking the next step, no matter how small. I invite you to transform every error into a lesson, every fall into a springboard. Remember, the ground is only a place to gain momentum. In a world that idolizes speed and instant gratification, patience is often misunderstood, confused with inertia or passivity. But the truth is that it is one of the deepest expressions of self-mastery. Wisdom teaches us, have patience. If you do not achieve self-mastery, in vain will you seek the understanding of those who do not yet comprehend you. Patience is not waiting idly. It is the ability to maintain calm and clarity of purpose even when things do not happen on our timeline, or when people do not align with our expectations. It is control over our own reactions, over the impulse to control what is beyond our reach. Think of a planted seed. It does not sprout the instant it is placed in the earth. It requires water, sun, and the necessary time to germinate and grow. This virtue is a fundamental prerequisite for mutual understanding. When we are impatient, our minds close, our listening becomes superficial, and our capacity for empathy dramatically diminishes. How can we expect to understand someone who acts differently than we expect if we cannot master our own frustration? Whether in a dialogue between parents and children, in a complex negotiation at work, or in a loving relationship, patience opens the door to active listening, discernment, and the building of bridges instead of walls. The benefits of patience extend across all areas of life. They improve relationships, bring mental clarity, increase emotional resilience, and allow us to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. We challenge you to observe your own impatience. Breathe, wait, and see how self-mastery brings a new dimension of peace and understanding to your interactions and to your own soul. Scene 5. The wisdom of observation. Avoiding turbulent circles. On our path, it's easy to be drawn into whirlwinds of negativity and conflict that, deep down, contribute little to us. The nobility of wanting to defend someone or take a stance can lead us to immerse ourselves in noisy circles, often created by people who make a lot of noise simply for the sake of it. Have you ever noticed how some discussions, especially online, seem more like a search for attention or an exercise in self-affirmation than a genuine attempt to solve problems? These are the incessant gossips, the daily dramas, the sterile arguments that drain your energy and your peace of mind. Defending someone can be crucial, but it is vital to discern when intervention transforms into unproductive involvement, dragging you into the spiral of those who feed on chaos. The price of this involvement is high. We drain our vitality, lose precious time, and often become contaminated by others' toxicity. Moreover, a poorly planned or impulsive intervention can, paradoxically, harm the very person one is trying to defend, or worse, make us part of the problem. The wisdom here lies in distinguishing between offering genuine support, attentive listening, calm advice, practical help, and being dragged into a swamp of drama. It is not about indifference, but about protecting your own serenity. It is about choosing your battles and recognizing that some wars do not have to be yours to be fought. I invite you to reflect on the noisy circles in your life. Which discussions can you avoid? Where can you set healthy boundaries? Protecting your inner peace is an act of self-defense and a demonstration of wisdom. Remember, silence and strategic detachment are often the most powerful responses. Scene 6. Integrity and perception, the soul's reflection in crisis. Grave moments are not just external challenges, they are also magnifying lenses for our very essence. It is in these moments of pressure that our spiritual reality becomes more visible. Our masks fall, and the true nature of our values, our character, is revealed. That is why the advice is crucial. Be temperate in your resolutions and attitudes. Moderation, prudence, and consistency in our actions and decisions, especially under tension, are not signs of weakness, but of profound inner strength. In these moments, our integrity is tested, and the way we act is observed, often more intensely than in normal circumstances. And this observation is a two-way street. Wisdom warns us, in any appreciation alluding to second and third parties, be careful. On other occasions, other people will be called upon to refer to you. The way we judge and speak about others is, in essence, a mirror. Our words have an echo, and one day that echo may reverberate back to us. Hasty judgment, criticism without empathy, careless gossip. All of this not only reveals our own lack of temperance, but also sets a precedent for how we will be treated. Practicing empathy and discernment before making comments about third parties is not just a matter of good manners, but of wisdom and self-protection. The construction of a solid reputation, of a legacy of respect and integrity, is a continuous process that manifests most strongly in the way we act and speak in times of crisis, and in the way we treat those around us, even when they are not present. I invite you to be a vigilant guardian of your own words and actions. Up to this point, we've explored profound principles for navigating grave moments: calmness, patience, rising again, temperance in actions and words, and the pursuit of a virtue that radiates without needing self-praise. Although the text that guided us uses language rooted in ancient wisdom, the essence of its message is remarkably universal, and it powerfully resonates with one of the most influential philosophies of life in history: Stoicism. For those who seek a path of inner strength and serenity through reason, Stoic philosophy offers a fascinating mirror for each pillar we discussed. It is not about a religious doctrine, but about a practical approach to living well. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor. In his Meditations, he constantly reminded us that the mind of man is his God. This perfectly aligns with the idea that our mind is the origin of everything we cultivate, the matrix of values that determines the harvest of our life. Marcus Aurelius preached control over our internal reactions to adversities, the virtue of calmness, of not deliberating hastily, and of not rushing into despair. He practiced patience and the impermanence of circumstances, knowing that everything transforms. Consider Seneca, whose letters and teachings frequently address the importance of virtuous action and resilience in the face of fortune and adversity. He would echo the idea that virtue is not a voice that speaks, but a power that radiates, emphasizing that character is revealed in actions, not words. His advocacy for temperance in resolutions and attitudes was central, as he believed that our spiritual reality is more visible under pressure, Seneca would encourage us not to get lost in noisy circles, but to focus our energy on what we can control, our own choices, and our service to humanity. And Epictetus, the former slave who became one of the most influential Stoic thinkers, relentlessly focused on the distinction between what we can control, our thoughts, judgments, and actions, and what we cannot. His philosophy reinforces the idea that if you have erred disastrously, rising again is the best measure, for suffering comes from judgment, not from the event itself. He would exhort us to have patience with those who do not yet understand us, for self-mastery is key to mutual understanding. His life was a testament to how virtue is a power that manifests in conscious action and silent integrity. Regardless of the path you choose to cultivate your soul, be it through faith or philosophical reason, the truth remains. We are the gardeners of our own being, and what we plant in our minds shapes the harvest of our existence. Every principle we have explored today is a time-tested tool, a compass for navigating the storms of life with wisdom, dignity, and an unwavering purpose. We have reached the end of our journey, but the true work, the work of cultivating the inner sowing, begins now within you. The wisdom we seek in grave moments is the same that sustains us in daily life. The ability to maintain calm, to act with patience, to rise from falls, to choose peace over drama, to practice integrity, and to allow our virtue to radiate without fanfare. Remember, true power is not in avoiding the storms, but in how you navigate through them. With every step, with every choice, you are planting a seed. May your seeds be of peace, of understanding, of resilience, and of a greater purpose. If this message resonated with your heart and mind, if you felt that these words can illuminate your path and that of others, I invite you to join this community of seekers of wisdom and self-mastery. Now, it's your turn to sow. If this video touched you, please subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of learning and growth with us. It's a simple step, but fundamental for our community to flourish. Leave your like on this video. Every like is a powerful signal to the YouTube algorithm that this message is valuable and needs to reach more people who are looking for light in their own grave moments. Your like helps spread this seed of wisdom. And please, share this video with friends, family, or anyone you believe could benefit from this profound reflection on calmness and conscious action.